and welcome to the Antique Trader. My name is Sharon Tavares, and I'm so happy to be here with you. We're taping out of the Craftique Mall in San Antonio, Texas, and we're here with Darlene IRWIN. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you for being on the program. And could you tell me a little bit about yourself? What do you do for a living?
I'm an insurance agent for a fraternal organization.
That's wonderful. And what led you to collect these goodies that you brought here for us?
Got into depression glass because of the experience of my grandparents having depression glass in their home. And the little ruby red glass tumbler was something that I always admired, and I thought it was just beautiful, and just led me into learning more and more about depression era.
And what is your favorite piece? I assume that you brought here some of your favorite pieces.
Well, I brought 3 examples of depression glass that are difference in colorations. The ruby red glass, which is that, and the sugar and creamer. The forest green, which is a beautiful green color and my favorite color.
Okay.
And then the blue cobalt.
Let's go and let's pick up the green.
Okay.
Because this reminds me of my grandmother's fruit bowl. Every time I'd come home from school, I would have fruit in the green little bowl. It'd be a fruit cocktail.
It can be a fruit bowl or a salad bowl. I do have the salad bowl and 5 other bowls that match it, so it is a set.
Do they have actually, because this is the only part that I've ever seen, do they have actually like cups and saucers and the
yes.
whole set that comes in a certain
Yes,
amount?
that is your green square cup and saucer.
Okay,
they have
which
the
is right here.
round cup and saucer. Have the plates in square and round.
I've never seen the plates.
Yes. Have the little bitty juice tumblers all the way up to iced tea size tumblers. I have the punch bowl and the round punch cups, full sets of that, serving bowls.
So when you started to collect these pieces, did you get a whole set, or were you fortunate enough to find the individual pieces that you needed, like putting a puzzle together?
Bits and pieces here and there. Sometimes you'd find maybe 2 cups, or 2 cups and 2 saucers, or 2 plates. We actually did find the punch bowl and set of cups at one specific site, and then later found the base. It's a separate base that the punch bowl sits on. So it's lots of looking and exploring, yes.
Does this actually have, is there a teapot to the set?
No, but there are pitchers, the glass pitchers where you mix your tea and or water, yes.
Oh, but there are no teapots.
I don't believe a teapot in that.
Does exist?
No.
Okay. Now, what is this here?
Okay, this is carnival glass. And this is a butter dish, this is the lid, and this is the actual place, cheese, I'm sorry, where you would put a cheese ball, or you could use it as butter, you know, when you made your own butter and put your own little design on it and everything. The carnival glass is made as iridescent, and this is a high quality piece because of the purple or amethyst color, made by Northwood. And then you also have your cheaper varieties of carnival glass, which we know from the carnivals, the sideshows, the little knick-knack shops and stuff.
How do you know this is an original piece?
Basically because you can tell the oldness of the glass and the true rainbow colors from the iridizing. Newer stuff, you're not going to have that deep, rich color, and you're not going to have as much iridation in the color.
So you could tell the difference because you've been a collector so long.
You can tell. I think you could even tell if you put them side by side. And then, of course, it has the label on the bottom. Well, maybe it doesn't on this one. But most of my Northwood does have, it'll have the N on the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This was an unusual piece. That's why I brought it. And because it would show the colors so well. Now, this, as you can see, is a brighter, the quality of glass is not as good. And this is what you would see in the sideshows, that one and this one. You would, penny tosses is what I remember them as. You would stand behind a counter and toss the penny,
pennies.
and whichever glass it landed in, you got to keep then as your prize.
So, which one would you consider to be older, in years older, that vintage type of thing? This purple or this? The iridescent one?
See, this is an older quality piece as well. So you can tell by looking at it. See the age, and there's the insignia of the brand.
Let's see if we could catch the insignia there. How does that go?
You can tell. See
There's
how,
an insignia in there somewhere.
the-
Okay.
it's just kind of hard to explain. You just have to learn by looking at it. You can just tell by the quality of the glass as well.
Because you're an expert at your craft.
Well, I wouldn't say expert, but it's like developing an eye for anything.
Like me, I can see a teapot miles away, and I've got to have that because I know it's original. It's Royal Albert, and it's mine.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. Okay.
And then your carnival glass has many, many different patterns. This is the grape pattern, as you can see, on just the outside.
That's a little bit more opaque.
Yes, yes. Your really rare quality pieces, some of them will even have a different pattern on the inside and the second pattern on the outside. You don't see very many of those because they...
No, I've never seen
Yeah.
anything like that. And this one here, this is very pretty. It's like
It's
an
very
ice
pretty.
cream dish.
Yes, yes. A little sherbet or even a little fruit dish. Or
And this is a lot brighter, so this must be
these two are your...
most recent.
They may be 1970s.
Yeah.
Whereas the other ones are going to be...
Because you could tell by the texture and the dullness and the
Yeah.
it's not as bright, so you could tell
Right.
that piece has been around for so many years longer.
And just the quality of the glass. On these, you'll feel the kind of the roughness of the mold, because it's a pressed glass. The glass, the sand is heated up and it's poured into a mold and pressed, and as it cools is when they throw those oxides onto it, and that's how you get that sheen or that gasoline on water look, and you get the rainbow
They are
colors.
beautiful. They are beautiful. Now, my favorite joke behind this one is when I first saw something like this, and my mother had poured milk into it, and I says, Mommy, what's this? She had purchased some new ones, or I don't know where she had them from, and she says, drink your milk. She says, that's milk glass. I says, it's because the glass is made out of milk. And she says, no, sweetheart, just drink the milk. So now you're here to tell me about milk glass. I've never been crazy about milk glass. I've never collected it. I don't know much about it. And you're
Well,
my expert.
Milk glass actually was made back in the 1500s by the Venetians. And it is more a thicker, deeper quality type glass. That one you can see kind of, you can almost kind of see through it. A translucence, yes ma'am. And see you have your raised pattern of your grapes and the grape leaves and stuff. And you can just pick this up and feel the quality of that glass. Now, I'm not saying this is from the 1500s.
No, but you could.
I wish it were. You can just tell the quality.
And it has
the dealer's mark on the bottom. And feel how smooth and buttery it feels. That is actually a fire finish. And the fire finish, it's hit a second time, and that takes off all the little bit of roughness that's sometimes left by the regular mold.
It's amazing because I feel like it's solid and you can actually hold it and you're holding something. And this one's very light, so you can tell this one is more recent.
Yes.
Because it has a translucent look to it.
Yeah, and if you hold it up to the light, you'll be able to see that little bit of a golden glow. Now that is from the chemicals that are used in it. And back in the old days when I first started collecting, I was told that that was from the ground up bone that was used in it. I have not been able to verify that by Googling it.
At least it's not milk.
No, it wasn't milk, but it could be calcium.
We're almost there.
Yes.
Ground up cow.
And now this, it does come in several different colors.
Oh,
This is
really?
the pink.
This is beautiful.
And there's a pink, there's a blue, there's black, there's brown. That may be the pattern. I haven't double checked that.
Oh, so that
the
was
name of the pattern of
that was already here
it was
when you
on there when I
purchased.
purchased it. Yes,
Take a look at this. So what do we still call this, milk glass or pink
it
glass?
is milk glass. Yes, ma'am, milk glass. But
Pink
it is
milk-
pink.
Pink milk glass.
And what's really ironic is when you come across the black milk glass. How do you know it's milk glass? It's black. But you hold it up to the light and it will kind of have a purplish, a
Do you
deep
have-
purple. No, I do not. I do not have any.
That must really be a rarity.
Yeah, it is rare. The blue, they call it a cobalt blue, but to me it's more of a medium blue. That is one of the favorite colors
Like
that
a
people like.
Wedgwood.
Yes,
A
kind of
Wedgwood
that
color. So a lot of people might have this at their yard sale and say, yeah, 25 cents, ma'am. And you say, yes, I just walked away
And
with
not know.
something wonderful.
Yes, and not know. Because you don't really see the colored very often. Most of what you see is the white. Now, my husband and I collected a whole bunch of it here 2 years ago because our daughter was getting married. And the milk glass is a wonderful presentation on tables. We planted all the little succulents in the milk glass and had them on the table with the oil lamps. And so
That must have really been gorgeous.
Yeah.
But this is amazing. And this is made the same way that they make the regular milk glass.
Yes, they just add
And this
the
is
coloration to
not,
it.
this is a very rare piece. You have any other pieces that you found?
I only have one other pink piece, and it's actually the base to a punch bowl.
Wow.
Yeah. So I haven't found too much of it.
So what do we have next?
Now, we talked earlier about the ruby red glass, the dark red.
Right.
This is gold ruby, and it's called cranberry. When you hold that up to the light, you actually can see the gold shining through it. May not have enough light right
That's
here now,
amazing.
but kind of with it sitting on the table, you can pick up the gold sheen.
Yes.
And what they did is when they matched, they
You can
mixed
see
up,
it right here.
they mixed up that batch of molten glass. They would throw some gold in there with it, and they found it would give it that beautiful highlight. Of course, you're stepping up in the quality of your glass a little bit more expensive.
Now, I've seen things like this, and I've seen some of it that it chips off. This doesn't chip
This
off.
is not painted on, no. This is in the glass. Now, this little decoration on the bottom is gold painted on, but it's on
See
a
if we
clear
can-
base, yeah. You can really see the gold sheen on that one, I think, because
Yes,
it's,
you can.
and that is cranberry glass.
That is
That's-
gorgeous. The only place I've ever seen something similar to this, and their brandy glasses in the cranberry, was Spain.
Ooh.
And I have 6 of them. But they're different colors. And I've been wondering if it's cranberry colored glass that they made them in 6 different colors. Could that be possible?
Well, are they like green, blue?
Yeah,
Yellow.
something like that. But it
Well-
has the same type of texture.
Yeah, they probably used like these different colors that they made these in, but added the gold to it to get that sheen.
Yeah,
And
because
it's very thin so that the gold shows through it.
now I got it. Now I know what I have. Because they were quite vintage when I purchased them over there, and I brought them back with me. And I thought they were very interesting and
Yeah,
very pretty.
yeah.
And I have used them. So they'll be mine forever. So let's see, what is the...
Now that is, again, the Depression era glass from the 1920s, 1940s. It's one of the 3 deepest colors. And that was what attracted
The
me
cobalt
to
blue.
the blue, the ruby red, and the forest green, because they had such beautiful color. Most of your other Depression glass is kind of clear. And then it goes from clear to the light pink and the light cranberry and the light greens. And so I started with the dark, deep, rich colors.
And this would be a juice glass? No, for toothpicks? A toothpick holder?
No, they really didn't make toothpick holders in that type of glass back then. This would be more of a juice glass, or it could be a liqueur. You could drink something a little stronger out of it.
I have cobalt blue glasses, but they're etched.
Oh, yes.
Beautiful. And they're juice glasses, and I treasure them.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
The cobalt is harder to find than the ruby red and the forest green. And these have a lot of really pretty little serving type trays that they go in. This, I would say, is a more recent piece. It's not, not real old because of the type of holder that it's in. But you still get the true idea of the really deep, rich blue color. When the cobalt glass is made, they actually add cobalt to it. And that's what gives it its richness. It holds that really pretty blue color.
That is gorgeous. Now, let me ask you another question. We never really took a look at those pieces up there. We could get a hold of those
these
pieces.
are more of the ruby red, like the tumbler.
Okay, because this is the darker piece.
This is the sugar, and then this is the creamer. And you can feel how thick and heavy that glass is.
That is.
And it just is such a beautiful color.
It is beautiful.
And it comes in the square, just like the forest green and the round.
Do you ever use any of your collector's pieces to put on your own table so you could have the pleasure of using it at least once?
Yes, sometimes. Sometimes.
And you'll say, well, even if it breaks, but I've used it once because it took me that long to collect it and so many pieces that I've collected that why not? Treat myself
actually,
well.
The story behind it was we have 3 children. So I started collecting the ruby red and thought, oh, well, I don't want them to fight over this one, so we need 2 other colors. So we started getting the green, and then my husband said, oh, I like the cobalt blue. So then we started collecting the cobalt blue. We have 2 girls and 1 boy, so we figured, well, our son will get the blue, and the girls can have the red and the green. And so that's kind of how we went with 3 colors. And we found the cobalt blue is so much more difficult to find.
Don't you wake up in the morning and say, honey, I have, you're going to be drinking coffee in green today.
Well, no, we have used them, but not a whole lot. It just, when you start collecting, it kind of becomes more of your, a prize, I guess.
What else do you collect?
Oh gosh, we have snuff boxes, we have paperweights, all kinds of antique knickknacks, and we have a lot more glass, a lot. We started collecting the Manhattan, which is a pattern that has grooves that go around the outside of the glass. And they're very difficult to find that it isn't chipped because of the way it's made. So it's become rarer and rarer. We also collect the candle wick, which is the one that has the little bitty dots all the way around it. And now a lot of people have that, so it's not as rare to find it.
It's been wonderful having you here. It's been such an experience, and now I know that milk glass is not made with milk.
No, it isn't.
But there's a cow involved somewhere.
Somewhere.
But anyway, thank you so much for being on the program.
Thank you.
I am so glad. And to you, remember, we're at the Craftique Mall here, and we hope to see you. If you have anything that you collect, look at the end of the credits of the program, give us a call, and let us know what you collect, and we'll have you on the program. Now, I'm going to say goodbye from the Craftique Mall in San Antonio, Texas. And remember, history is in the heart of the collector. Keep collecting. Take care. welcome back to the Antique Trader. And I wanted to take the time to show you something very special. I have Pat IRWIN here who's going to help me hold things up. I had his wife on previously. And these are very unusual candlesticks. These have been in my father's family for about 150 years. And as you can see, they've never been cleaned. They've been used, but I don't know how they used them because they actually chiseled out whatever wax or whatever was in there. But these were made by a blacksmith. My father's father was Patrick Malloy, who owned a farm in Ireland. He was a farmer. And he told the story to my father about that these come from 2 generations previously, and they were always handed down. And they were only used on special occasions. So if we can get a little bit closer here, we'll see that, imagine this being made by a blacksmith. So my father and mother were in Ireland in 1984, and they brought them back for me to pass them down to my children, and they're always to stay there to be used and just handed down. But I thought this was very interesting. They're very heavy, and I saw something that I hadn't seen before. We can get the camera to catch it up very close. It has a carved horseshoe in there, and it says good luck. So whatever they use these for, hopefully it was for praying. But as you can see, the bottom of it, I know that they come apart, but I've never cleaned them because we have to be very careful with their vintage and things that are old, that once you clean, they lose the value. Because a lot of people purchase these things because they want to buy a little bit of the dirt from the ancient times. So we shouldn't clean antiques like this. Now, I have Mr. IRWIN here so that he can help me hold up, and I'll tell you a little bit about the history of this program. Maybe you can help me hold it up like this a little bit. When I first started, I did the Trader News, which was a paper about bartering, and I used to do stories on different things, on musical instruments, creating heirlooms, and all these. And this was actually laid out by hand. And this was way back when, before we had all this modern technology, that I did this. And I used to deliver in 11 states. And I said one day when I came to New York, because my mother started to get sick and I had to go back to New York, I said, I was looking at a public access program, and my little girl said to me, she says, Mom, there's something with that program. She says, I can't hear it because there's no voices coming out. There was no audio. So I said, I called up the station and I spoke to the director of the channel, and he says, you and I should meet. So I went into his office and he said to me, he says, let me see what you could do. Since you think you could do better, let's see what you could do. I turned the Trader News into the Antique Trader. And here I am today, about 900 shows later and several awards. And I'm ever so grateful. But before we go, let me show you a couple of other things. Okay. This was, let me see. Okay. The Trader News. Let me see if I can open it up here. And I have very few of these left, but we used to do stories on, I used to run Unique Creations advertising, and let's see, we used to talk about the Stargazer, we used to have poetry on there, and we also used to have, let's see here. You are so sweet and so kind to come and help me do this. This was our October issue, and this was all laid out by hand. This is something that, it was unique at the time, but you had to be very creative, and it took up a lot of time, and when I had to meet deadline, it was bedlam. It was like no eating, no nothing, no nothing. Then I had a pantry that I used to run for Sundays. I used to cook all Saturday night after I closed up my shop, and we used to advertise that also here. so that people would come in and eat after church. And there was no charge for it because everybody donated everything, but I just did the cooking. Okay, so let's see what story is on this one. Over here, it's music to my ears. We did a story of Love is Immortal Pieces. And this was the Thanksgiving issue. And as you can see, I have all the ladies and all of these things going on. But these were the 11 places that we delivered to. We went to Missouri to be one of them, Kansas, Oklahoma. We did a lot of traveling in 3 days, not coming out of that station wagon. Made sure everybody got a free newspaper. It was a lot of traveling. Okay, and here we go. One of the other ones that I did, this story is called Loco for Locomotives. We talk about the Lionel trains, the collection of Lionel trains. I know that before. I've been a paralegal. I did some paralegal work at the beginning when I came out of high school. And before my boss passed away, I gave him a Johnny Cash locomotive. And because he was a big time collector. But I've been into this thing of collecting for so many years that I'm really impressed, and I love everybody that I meet. It's a thing about history. I'm a history buff, and everybody that you meet that collects, they have something to say. And I've learned a lot throughout the years, and I'm ever so, so grateful. I'd like to thank you for being on the program with me.
Of course.
It's been a pleasure. And thank you for watching. Remember, history is in the heart of the collector. And we'll catch you next time on the Craftiques Mall, on the Antique Trader, where history is in the heart of the collector. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next program.